Hello, welcome to another lesson in our series on educational technology and chalkboard. Today we look at types of chalkboard. We already know what chalkboard is from our previous lesson. What is a chalkboard? Which says any reusable surface on which text and drawings can be made with the aid of the chalk. So any reusable surface. So there are many reusable surfaces that we refer to as chalkboard. We have the blackboard, whiteboard, wall chalkboard, mobile chalkboard, magnetic board, electronic board, electronic copyboard, and interactive board. Because there are so many, I've decided to cut them into two different lessons. So for this lesson, we'll be talking about the blackboard, whiteboard, wall chalkboard, and mobile chalkboard. What is the blackboard? Most of us growing up used the blackboard. The blackboard is any reusable surface on which text and drawings can be made with the aid of the chalk. Any reusable surface on which text and drawings can be made with the aid of a chalk. So it can be the class wall, it can be some material placed on the wall, it can be glass, enamel, porcelain, it can be wood, whatever it is, as long as it is a black reusable surface on which you can write with our chalk, make drawings with our chalk, it is a chalkboard. The blackboard is the traditional chalkboard and is the most common chalkboard used, especially in this part of the world. Classrooms are usually identified with the presence of what? The blackboard. At times you go to some places, there's always a presentation room when there is whiteboard. But when there is a blackboard, there is no doubt that that place is a classroom. It can be anything that is reusable, but in a lot of cases, is a part of the class wall painted black. So you choose a part of the class wall, paint it black, or it's some kind of board painted black that is put on the wall. Or we have wood, we have tarpaulin sheets, and we have the commercially produced porcelain enameled steel boards. The writing material for writing on the board is usually the chalk, the calcium sulfate or calcium carbonate based chalk. Not the powdery chalk that when we write it dust falls off. Yes, that's what we usually use with the blackboard, not markers. It's not exactly clear when the chalkboard was discovered or developed. Some people associate it with Indians. Some say an American man, George something, produced it. But the person is most associated in the world is James Phelan. James Phelan was the headmaster and geography teacher of the Old Boys High School in Edinburgh, Scotland. As a geography teacher, he wanted his students to all see his map reading class, the illustration he's making about map reading at the same time. And if they were using individual slates, like was the case then, or writing in their books, it was not possible for them to see it at the same time. And seeing it at the same time is what we refer to as simultaneous view. So he came up with this idea of painting this black plank or putting planks together and painting them black and putting them at the central part of the class wall. And then he used different colors of chalk to illustrate his lesson on map reading. From this simple use of the blackboard, the chalkboard has become what? An essential part of classroom furnishing. You do not go to any school and not see the chalkboard. 90% of schools in the world have a chalkboard, and all is because of this humble beginning. So we have the chalkboard as part of the class wall, as some material on the class wall, as mobile chalkboard, local, sophisticated. We even have tarpaulin sheets we use on the wall that serve as mobile and wall chalkboards. Stay black. The material, like said earlier, is a traditional chalk, which is made from carbon sulfate or carbon bicarbonate. So it can be white or different colors. What are the advantages of using the chalkboard in the school system? It's cheap to acquire. All we do in a lot of cases is paint a part of the class wall black by using any of the available chalkboard paints. We paint a part of the class wall black, and then we use it as chalkboard. We say it lasts a long time. When we use a part of the class wall, as long as that class wall remains, our chalkboard also what? Remains. As long as that class wall remains, our chalkboard remains. So it lasts a long time. It's easy to clean and maintain. We clean it, we repaint it, we can use grass like we did in primary school to wipe it, or we use charcoal to wipe it. But because it is mostly a part of the class wall, it does not get bad easily. Even the ones that are placed on the wall, because they are not carried up and down, there's a tendency that they last for a long time. What are the problems we have using the blackboard? The biggest problem is that it produces chalk dust because it's made from calcium sulfate, which is a powdery material. As you use it turns to dust and falls down part of it. And because it's dust, what happens? It dirties the user. So a lot of teachers don't like using the chalk because they say it dirties their hand or it dirties their body. Imagine you're well dressed with your white suit or your black suit and they have to use it. So that is part of the problem. And because it is dust, it can cause medical issues also, not just dirtying the user. It can also cause medical issues for the teacher and for the students. There are people that are allergic to various substances. One of those substances could be calcium sulfate or calcium bicarbonate. It triggers asthma because it's dust particle. A lot of asthmatic patients, when they are where there is dust, even in the smallest amount, it becomes a problem. Then it can cause silicosis, which is a debilitating illness actually, that is caused by inhaling dust particles of any form, not only the chalk, but dust particles. It could be from cotton, it could be from wood, and in this case, we have the chalk dust. When we use the chalk board, at times we hear this screeching noise. Some types of chalk do that. Some is the chalk, but some is the chalk. And then people with long nails cannot make use of it. So if you're a teacher, be careful keeping long nails. You hear this screeching sound that is not very pleasant to listeners. And then with the chalk board, most colors outside the white dust is not does not show very well on the chalkboard. It shows, but it kind of looks unserious because we are used to using the white board. So it can dirty our hands, we can inhale it, and so on and so forth. Then we have the whiteboard. That's another type of board, the whiteboard. The whiteboard is any chalkboard that is white. They're usually made of fiberglass or rubber. They are rubber boards. The writing material we have on the whiteboard is not the usual traditional chalk, which is made of calcium sulfate, but we have what we call the dry erase markers and so on and so forth. So they are also called dry erase or marker boards because we also use those materials on them. Then a white chalkboard comes in various forms. It can be on the wall, it can be mobile. And then the chalk we use for it is, like I said, not the usual chalk. So we have the markers and so on, have different types of them. So what are the benefits of the whiteboard, especially over the blackboard? It does not emit chalk dust. The material we use on it does not bring out chalk dust. So those teachers that don't like writing on the board because they don't like the chalk dust, there is always an option. It gives good contrast to most colors. With the blackboard, we use only white because that's the best contrast. But with the whiteboard, any and every color is good with it. But you should be careful the colors we use. Dark colors are good. It doubles as a projection tray in places where we don't have projection screens. Of course, we use our whiteboard and it comes out very clear. What are the problems we have using the whiteboard as a chalkboard? There is problem of availability of the whiteboard chalk, those whiteboard markers, in rural areas. Because these materials, especially in the Nigerian situation, they are imported. There's usually problems finding them in certain locations. The cost of the whiteboard chalk is also a problem. It's not very expensive, but when it adds up, it becomes expensive. When we use the chalk, we use a packet of chalk that has 100, maybe for the whole term. For the whole term. But with the whiteboard, sometimes we use like 2 whiteboard chalk in one class of 2 hours or 1 hour. And each of those chalk costs between 150 and 250. That 150 and 250 is actually the amount we spend in buying the packet of chalk for the blackboard. So you see, by the end of the term, it adds up. The quality of the whiteboard chalk is also another issue. There are a lot of poor quality whiteboard chalks. Some of these whiteboard chalks we see around, by the time you open it and write 2 things, and that's the end. Sometimes you have not even used it and the chalk is not showing properly. So sometimes in a class, you use 2, 3, 4. And imagine that's 600 naira. So the quality can be a problem. Ease of cleaning the whiteboard is another problem. We use the board, yes, it's reusable, but as you use, sometimes you notice it's leaving the black stains or red stains or green stains or whatever stains that you've been using. So to clean it, you have to use like chemicals, bleach, to make the whiteboard very clean. And when you're using that, there are chemicals, you're actually harming your board as well. reducing the lifespan. And then a lot of people use permanent markers to write on the whiteboard. That's not a very good thing. Please do not use permanent markers on your whiteboard. You can clean them off with chemicals, but the chemicals are affecting the quality of the board. Then we have the wall chalkboard. The wall chalkboard can be any type of board. White, green, blue, red, black, and all that. Magnetic, interactive, and all that. But we call it wall chalkboard because it's a board that is permanently fixed to the class wall. It's always on the class wall because it's part of the class wall or some board that is fixed with nails or cement or whatever to the class wall. The purpose of fixing it is so that it's always there. And among all the boards, the wall chalkboard gives us the biggest amount of writing space because you can paint the whole wall front of your classboard black. So you can paint as much space as you like. So the wall chalkboard gives us the biggest amount of space, and it makes the chalkboard to be used to identify the classroom because it's always on the classroom wall. Then we have the mobile chalkboard. The mobile chalkboard is any chalkboard that can be moved from place to place. It can be moved from one place to the other. So we have a classroom in the school field. We can move the board from the classroom to the school field. In doing that, we turn any place into a classroom. And we do everything we need to do in the classroom at that place because we can write, we can project, we can stick things on it. So the mobile chalkboard is any chalkboard that can be moved from one place to the other. It can be crude, sophisticated, white, green, red, blue. As long as it is movable, it is chalkboard. It is a mobile chalkboard, and it turns every place into a classroom. So the next lesson we'll be looking at the remaining types of chalkboard: magnetic chalkboard and the electronic chalkboards, which are electronic copyboard and interactive board. Thank you very much. Remember to link up with us exploring the educational field with Dr. Omieibi-Davids. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Thank you very much.